This is Fox 12 Now.
Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler, live from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and thank you for joining us. You know, it is summertime. A lot of people want to get outside, enjoy that weather. We've had some pretty high heat going on as well into the 90s, and whether you're an adult or you have kids who are getting out there and, you know, playing some games, playing some pickleball, going to the park, whatever it may be, you definitely want to be careful when you're out there exercising in the heat. There's some key things to watch out for yourself to stay safe and also for those around you. We had some time to speak to Dr. Melissa Novak Ott from Kaiser Permanente Northwest, who's a sports medical physician there, but also she works for the Thorns and the Fire as well. So working with a lot of pro athletes all the way to just ordinary people like the rest of us. And so she's got some great advice just on how to make sure that you're staying safe and that those around you stay safe as well. Here she is.
Yeah, no, it's great to think about that. Heat can cause us to have points in time when it's just not safe. And so the biggest point about heat safety is to prepare for it. And that formula, I think, is kind of simple. You need to acclimatize to your environment. You need to hydrate smart and take cooling breaks. And know when to stop is kind of the main things to do when you're thinking about heat safety.
Like when you're saying knowing when to stop, because sometimes I know it can be hard. It's like, oh no, I can power through this, or I'm doing okay. But that's not the case. What are some signs that you can look at for yourself to know, like, hey, I need to take a break and get a drink of water or do whatever it is?
Exactly. There's some real big key points that you really just don't want to miss. You want to stop, move yourself to a shady place. First sign of dizziness would be one reason to make sure that you stop right away. Just don't push through that. Developing a headache while you're out there, that's another sign of dehydration and that the heat is taking a toll on you. If you start getting a little sick to your stomach or a little nauseous, that's another reason. And then getting muscle cramps that just they don't go away with electrolytes or just a little bit of rest are all reasons to say, hey, whoa, I need to like pull back here, get some fluids, and just make sure to take a break.
And what about when it comes to kids? You know, a lot of kids, they're out of school, they're in summer leagues, or they're just going down to play basketball or whatever it may be. What are some important things that parents should think about when it comes to kids and sports in this heat?
Yeah, absolutely. Kids are really important to think about because their sweat production is at a lower rate, and so they actually have reduced evaporation that happens, and so it decreases their cooling capacity. And so making sure that you're giving them hydration breaks and staying well hydrated. I know I'm taking my kids, and I've got the little like every hour you got to go down. I'm like, okay, did you drink your water for this hour? And that's super important. Making sure that they're wearing loose. Or anyone that's out in the heat wearing loose, like dryable clothing, things like that that are cool is super helpful as well too. But yeah, kids are important. Making sure they're staying hydrated, they're getting breaks and cooling breaks and staying cool is good.
When you're around other people, you know, whether it's and I don't know if there's a difference between kids or adults for these kinds of symptoms, so please let me know. But what are some symptoms you can notice when you're with someone else and maybe they're going through some kind of heat exhaustion or something related to that? Just signs you can look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. So heat exhaustion and then heat stroke. So heat exhaustion is we're in a like a big warning zone, but we're not in the like safety concern zone, right? Need to get to the emergency room. And so the heat exhaustion is always, I kind of talked about that headache, the dizziness, nauseousness, those kind of things. That's kind of your early signs and making sure you're still sweating at that point. There's a big piece that happens when you start getting into that zone of heat stroke. And this is your body temperature is getting up above 104. It's really a not safe place and it becomes a medical emergency. So we actually stop sweating at that point of time. We might even feel cool or cold. And that's something that's really important to know. And then the big hallmark where this becomes a medical emergency too is that mental status. So we go from being coherent to maybe we're confused or a little bit of delirium, slurred speech, agitation, combative. And working in medical tents, I've seen this multiple times over the years, and I've had patients be combative with me, and I need to get them into that ice bath and cool them right away.
Wow. Yeah. So they're getting combative even.
Because they get delirious.
Yeah. So if you see something like that, call 911, that kind of an emergency?
Absolutely. So you want to call 911 right away, but the most important thing to do is we actually want to cool someone before they get moved. So you can start right away with that process. And so if you have a cold tub, that's what I, for being prepared at a race or at one of the Thorns games or something like that, I'm going to have a tub of ice bath. But if you don't have that, trying to take cool cloths or ice packs or something and put them in some specific places. So you can do that around the neck, you can put it on the head, the axilla and the groin are all good places to really start people cooling down. You can also give them ice water that will help cool as well too.
Okay, so good to have those kinds of things on hand, no matter what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Be prepared if you're going to be out in the heat. We stop if you're a recreational athlete. I always think about this because we're not as acclimatized. Usually, we're not as well conditioned as some of our other athletes and stuff too. And so, just being aware of your body and knowing when to stop is really important in those time frames as well too. And then being prepared. Also, knowing some things like caffeine and all the energy drinks, those kind of things can put us at a higher risk of heat injury. Some medications that we take, if we're taking diuretics or something like that, those can put us at a higher concern for heat injury happening as well too. Our environment that we're in. So if you're on artificial turf, if our kids are playing on artificial turf, or knowing that the heat there is quite a bit higher. In the professional setting and in several of like marathon races and stuff like that, we follow something called the wet bulb globe temperature. And that temperature will tell us what, some of the better ways to prepare. So if there's a certain level, we say, okay, gosh, we need to stop and have more cooling and water breaks if we go over a certain set point, or maybe we even need to cancel the event altogether.
Wow, so all good things to think about, being prepared, knowing, what kind of environment you're going to be going into.
Mm-hmm.
All great stuff to be thinking about. Well, Doctor, thank you very much for having time to talk to us as well, just to go through this and good things for everybody to know, no matter, who you are, what level of athlete you are. We're not all thorns and fire players, so, hardly
Right.
anybody is, so yeah, really paying attention to that. So it's just very important
Mm-hmm.
before you get out there. Anything else that you think is important for people to know?
I mean, I think just that it's simple. Like acclimatize yourself to the environment, hydrate smart, take your cooling breaks, and know when to stop. And just if somebody looks like they're struggling, or you're noticing they're going into that heat stroke zone where they're mentally not all there, you need to call 911 and cool them immediately.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us to talk about all this. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, some great information there for everybody just about what to know when it comes to being out there. So, as she said, make sure you're following along with your own body. If it feels weird, then something's off. So go get a drink of water, get in some ice, all of those things. Good ideas. We've got more for you coming up here, and this is Fox 12 Now. We are live streaming out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the Trailblazers' new head coach. We have some details on him. We're going to be talking about World Cup. We've got some sports for you, so sit right there. We'll take a quick break. Be right back with more Fox 12 Now.